Hello and welcome to another add-on guide, and this time we'll be having a look at Auctioneer, the gold-making add-on. I do have a gold-making series on this, which I have to kind of confess, just slightly off to the side before we get started. I'm giving away a Sky Golem in that, and I'm really excited about it, because Sky Golems are so cool, and I'm sure that whoever ends up getting that will be quite happy with it, because they are just so awesome. So let's go and have a look at Auctioneer. Now, I do have a lot of tabs here. I wouldn't really worry about too many of these. Okay, when you load up Auctioneer, you're going to not have some of these. I have lots and lots of auctionating or auction add-ons. Some of them are Trade Skill Master, and I've got Auctionator there as well, and I've got Auctioneer here. I find that a lot of the auctioning add-ons work well together, and so we're going to be looking at Auctioneer and how you can use this fantastic add-on to make lots and lots of gold. So first off, basically what this add-on does is it's going to be scanning the auction house. You'll tell it to scan, and it's going to go through all of the items in the auction house, and you're going to do this quite a lot, especially once you've first picked up this add-on, okay? Because it really needs to make sure that it's got lots and lots of data. It knows exactly what the items are about. You've still got to keep your eye on it, because it can be tricked. It's just going with the data it's going on, and unfortunately some people do know about this and they'll try and trick you. I'll try and help you avoid some of those tricks, because they are quite nasty, and I have no respect for the people that do those kinds of things. So what we're going to be doing is, when you first get this add-on, you'll try and scan at least twice a day, preferably like in the morning and the evening if you can, but whenever really. Just try and scan twice a day for an entire week. After that, just scan like once a day if possible, because you want to have quite a lot of data accrued before you really start working with this. Now, in order to scan, there are two main ways. You've got the play button over here, which is sort of the slow scan and will be more methodical, and you've got this quick scan. Now, there's no real reason why you shouldn't use the quick scan unless you're on a very large server. So if you're on a very high populated realm and you've got so many auctions there, okay, the quick scan, because of the limitations that Blizz sets, it won't be able to see all of the auctions up there, because there are just too many, and Blizzard has limitations imposed on that. But if you use the slow scan, then it should be able to do that anyway. Now, if you're on a really high population realm, what you'll want to do, because it will take a very long time, you can use the quick scan if you're in a hurry, but you'll pop on the slow scan, and then you'll go and do something else. It's going to take quite a long time, really, very long time. So just go and make a cup of tea, do whatever, doesn't really matter. Anyway, so you go and you click these. You have to click this twice, otherwise it first appears like a little warning message, we are going to be quick scanning, and then you say that is fine, you go and do your thing, and then it will scan. You've got some bars up here, just leave the auctioning window up. You can see it's scanning some items here. This is a very tiny little realm, and so there's only like 14,000 auctions here, and it's busy processing all the information and everything. And then we're going to have a look at some of the other tabs. Now, let's go and have a look at the search tab, because this is what's really important. We're going to have a look at some of the rest of the UI, so you don't get too freaked out by this add-on, but this is really what you're going to be doing. You're going to be searching, and then you're going to go over to the search tab after you've searched, and then you'll be using its lovely little things that it's got over here. Now, it does have quite good tooltips on some of these, but generally the ones that you'll use the most will probably be resale. You've got vendor, and you can use prospects and milling and some stuff like that. So let's just go through some of the basics of here to get started. If you really want to see a lot of this in detail, go ahead and have a look at the gold making guide, but let's get you started, ready, roaring to go and making some gold. So head on over to resale, and you can type in the minimum profits, allow bids, allow buyouts, or whatever you want to do with these settings. The main thing here is you've got the minimum profit. Basically, it's looking at the items, and the whole idea of resale is it's looking at the average price of auctions, and it's seeing who's putting these auctions at stupidly low prices. So when someone's putting it at way low, just way too low, you can snatch that up and then repost it for, like, let's say double what they originally posted it for, and that's how you're going to be making your money out of this add-on. So minimum profit, basically, that's the minimum amount that you really care about. Unless you're going to be making that per item, just ignore it. Don't even show it to me. Okay, you don't want to have that too high. I've got it set to around about 10 gold. You can have it lower, you can have it higher. The minimum discount, I would set that higher when you don't really quite know what you're doing, because then there's less risk, and that basically means you'll be able to resell it for more based on what you actually bought it for, which is quite nice. But the more you get used to it, you can make the discount even lower and lower and lower and lower. The scene count, okay? This is basically telling the auctioneering add-on that you only want to see items that it has quite a bit of data on. That's what you're going to be using that for, and you can check that, and you can have the scene count, particularly when you're still working on it and still sort of seeing how things are going, okay? You've got allow bids and allow buyouts. Basically, some items, someone will put on a really, really low bid. The buyout will be sort of, yeah, you know, it'll be kind of average price, but some people like to have really, really low bids, and Auctioneer is saying, well, we can bid on those, and if we win that item, we can then sell it for more and still make the gold. I don't really like bids because they're a bit annoying and your money gets tied up, and it can be quite frustrating sometimes because you're going to get outbid quite a bit, but you will make a lot of profit on the things that you do actually win. Allow buyouts is pretty simple, you just buy it and then resell it straight away. And you've got maximum price for resale. If you really want to use that, I wouldn't worry too much about that. If you have low gold, you can set the maximum price if you want to, but you can also see how things are going to work. You've got the price valuation method, just leave that at market price, and you can also have fees adjustment. That's basically saying, you know, if I'm going to have to relist this item, I'm going to have to put the deposits and the auction fees and all of that kind of stuff, so just pretty much leave that how it is. And then we're going to click the search button. So now it's taking all the data, it's looking at all the items we know about, and now it's giving me this massive list of stuff that I can potentially make a profit on. So let's go and have a look at some of these things. Now, the massive pitfall you have to watch out for is that your auctioning add-on is using data. So what some people will do is they'll post an item that no one would ever even think about buying, okay, because you can get it from like a vendor or something. So let's say they're going to be posting rogue poisons. You don't get those anymore, but that's one of the things that they used to do. And you can post that poison there, which people can just buy from a vendor for like nothing, up there for like 100,000 gold, okay? And they'll leave it up there for a little while. Your auctioneering add-on will be like, okay, this average price of this is 100,000 gold. Then they'll list it for like 45,000 gold. And then Auctioneer is going to be saying, well, the average price of this is 100,000. They're selling it for 45,000. You should buy this because you can make a profit. Your auctioning add-on is being tricked by people who are trying to steal your money, basically. They're trying to swindle you. So just watch out for that. Try to at least know what you're buying. Don't buy things unless you kind of know what it is. That's the main thing that you'll be able to avoid those things with. It does take some getting used to. Don't worry if you make some mistakes. You know, as long as you're still making a little bit of gold, it's fine to make mistakes. It doesn't matter. We all learn from our mistakes, and you will get better by making mistakes. There are people who have been doing this for years, and I guarantee you that they still make mistakes. It's fine. It's fine to make mistakes. Don't be too worried about it. Anyway, so you'll go through and you'll look at the items, and you'll be sort of seeing what's kind of there for you to buy and then resell. Always remember to use your own mind here. Just don't mindlessly buy what your auctioning add-on is telling you about. This is a tool. A tool is useless unless you use this to use it properly. So basically it's giving you a list of stuff, and now you should sort through that list consciously thinking, is that really worth it? If I buy that, will I be able to sell it for the price? Will I get the money? Stay away from things that really like never sell. Maybe you can get your gold back, but odds are it might never, ever, ever sell. A lot of the very, very old, really old mats that aren't really used can be dangerous there. A lot of the stuff from Molten Core, for example, generally doesn't sell, I've found. Sometimes maybe, but generally I've found not. So if you see some strange items that you've never heard of before, go and look it up, maybe see what it's used for. Feel free to buy it if you really think you can make the money on it. And then if it sells, good, you know to buy it again. If it doesn't sell, you know that was a mistake and you never buy it again, and you still win either way, don't you? So that's fine. And you're going to go and just sort of scroll down. It's a very, very long list. You can sort the things by items by clicking there. This percentage PCT over here is basically sort of the percentage price of the items. So you can kind of see how much lower than the average your add-on thinks it is, and you can see what the profit it thinks you'll make. STK is the stack. So, for example, these large glowing shards, there's a stack of 20. These large glowing shards over here, it's a stack of 13. And then it tells you what the buyout is, and it tells you what the bid is, it tells you what the reason is. Now, what the reason is, it's really saying buy or bid. Now if you click this purchase button, it will just go with based on what your add-on recommends, and you won't have to really worry about bidding or buying out. It's up to you. And seller, that's the person who's selling it, doesn't always have that information for some reason. Left is the time it reckons is left on that auction, so basically the time until it expires and goes back into that person's mailbox, and then they have to relist that. That's what the time left is for. Buyout each, that's buyout per individual item, so if there's a stack of 20, it will divide the buyout price by 20, and that's buyout each. Same thing for bid each, minimum bid, there you go. There's quite a lot of stuff here. Not all of it is really useful. I'd say if you had it scrolled all the way to the left, item, percentage, profit, stack, buyout, bid, reason, and seller. Those are the really important stuff. Seller isn't very important, but it is sometimes kind of nice to know who you're buying from, because some people can try and be sneaky, and you can kind of know who the sneaky people are. And of course, if you really want to know more about an item, let's say this large glowing shard, you can type in large glowing shard and go and have a look at it and see what's going on. Now we see that there's a whole bunch of auctions here, not really very many actually, there's like what, 4? And you can see that you've got 17%, 17%, 34%, and then 88%. So there is someone here who has listed it at what my add-on reckons is sort of the normalish price for this, and a whole bunch of people that I've listed it way below that. So, you know, there you go. It's just sort of like another way to see what the items are there for. Sometimes it also kind of helps because of the way that the minimum discount works. For example, if it has something that's at 49% and then right above it there's like 100 auctions at 50%, okay? You'll have to undercut that person in order for your auctions to be seen by anyone. So you're going to have to basically buy the 50% person as well in order to make any profit on the 49% stuff, because it's only 1%. But your add-on won't see the other percentage, depending on how you've got it set. So it's kind of nice to just search for the item and see the things that your add-on may not be telling you as well, and I find that it's quite helpful. And then you can buy it like that. You'll notice that your UI will change a little bit. This hashtag there, that's just the number of items in the stack. The auction items over there. The min, I'm not actually sure what that column is for. It says 1. I have a feeling that that's like the minimum level you have to be in order to use it. And then you've got the item level of the item. You've got the time left, the owner, the price, and then the percentage, which is sort of the percentage it reckons of the average price, you know, the normal sort of price that it's working with. Anything above normal will be over 100%, and it will usually be in red. You've got several colors. Blue usually means that it's way lower than it should be, or so your add-on says. Green, it's sort of lower than it should be. You could probably still make a profit on it. Yellow, it's pretty much where it should be. Orange, it's a little bit higher than it should be. Red, it's way higher than it should be. That's basically what it's working with. So it's a little bit weird. It's got some kind of quirks here. Hopefully you can sort of start using it as well. And you can start working with the add-on and buying your items and selling them as well. And of course, unless you're using the other add-ons like Auctioneer, for example, you may want to use Appraiser to sell certain items. So you can basically left-click on the item and then it brings up this window, and you can adjust what the stack size is, basically how many stacks you want of that item. So if I set the stack to 1, it would be selling in stacks of 1. If I set it to 20, it would be selling in stacks of 20. And then you can have how many you want to list. So everything in stacks of 20 or whatever it is that you really want to do. And you can see in this window here what other items are there as well. And you've got a whole bunch of auctions there and all that good stuff. Bean counter, it's basically an accounting thing. Wouldn't really worry about it. It's not particularly useful. In some ways it's kind of cool, but for the most part, don't really worry too much about using it. But Appraiser can be nice to help sell things. Personally, I prefer Auctioneer's sell window because you can just like basically click and it's done. But I do like Appraiser as well. It is quite nice. And one of the things you can do with it is sometimes it will decide not to undercut people, but will instead sell at a price it thinks is reasonable. And that way you don't tend to make a loss with things. It can be quite useful to use. It's a very nice add-on. So go out there and grab some auctioneering and have some fun. It's great. And thanks for watching. Make sure to hit up the add-on developers and everything. Cheerio.